Hello, welcome to Walk in the Park. My name's Tony Ingram, your host, and we're here on this recording is on September 5th, and it's episode 19. We're going to go to a lot of different places. If you want to see this again, or if you want to catch it online, or if you want to see other episodes of Walk in the Park, half-hour show, go to my blog at ithacafingerlakes.com, and you can see all of my episodes. Okay, so today we're going to go a number of different places. Look at my sheet here. Where we're going to go to state parks, city parks, go to a county fair, and a Civil War encampment, and a number of different places. Let's see how much time we have here. So we're going to start off in the air. We're going to go up in the air with we'll have a few stills here. This is a photograph taken of Cornell in the lower left of the picture. Right in the center of the picture is Beebe Lake on the Cornell campus, and of course above that is Cayuga Lake, and to the left of that is downtown Ithaca. This is taken by Bill Hecht, who is an area resident who likes to get up on an airplane and fly around the region in good weather and take interesting photographs of our landscape. So we're going to fly around another little shot of them here. Things that just moved over to the left a little bit. Obviously a picture that was taken quite soon after the previous one. And now we're more up over Ithaca, where Beebe Lake is no longer in the picture. Look how Cayuga Lake winds to the north. You might think that Cayuga Lake is a straight shot north and south, but it isn't at all. It's actually sort of a zigzag pattern, and there isn't any one place on it you can see from one end to the other. That's as much due to the zigzag pattern as it is to the fact that the lake is 38 miles long and extends beyond the horizon from any point along the shore. So really the only way you can get a feel for the length of Cayuga Lake is to see it from the air like this. Let's see, where are we going to go next year? Well, we're going to fly up along the eastern shore. That'll be on the right-hand side of the lake, and look down, looking down at the lake. So Ithaca would be up to the left, and that's the east shore, and down just below the center of the picture, a little to the left, is a boat. There's a boat going along, and I happen to know that boat. It's possible I was even on that boat when this picture was taken. I don't know. But in any case, we'll get another view of it looking straight down, well, almost straight down on the boat. And you notice it's a little bit red, and it has red canopy. Now we'll go down to Cayuga Inlet and take a look at that boat. That is the MV Handle of Tia Harrow Tours and the Floating Classroom. It used to be, many years ago, a sort of a work and survey boat for the Army Corps of Engineers in New York Harbor, and then it was on Lake Champlain as a little ferry that took people to Vermont state parks and northern island state parks, I should say, in northern Lake Champlain. It's called the Burton Island Ferry. And now it's Tia Harrow Tours and the Floating Classroom, the Cayuga Lake Floating Classroom. So it leaves from the farmer's market and also leaves from its own dock on Inlet Island to take tours out on the lake. And it also leaves from both of those locations taking classes, school classes, college classes out on the lake to do science on the lake, and eco-tours also from the farmer's market on Sundays usually. Also they have a Thursday evening eco-tour. I'm not sure what's continuing in the fall that way. Certainly on Sundays that'll continue. And it also goes up to other locations, particularly Wells College in Aurora. They have a dock there and they go out on the lake. And it goes sometimes goes to Teganic Park and picks up groups there. So that's the floating classroom aspect of it. And it comes out of Cayuga Inlet. So here is another Bill Hecht aerial. If you look left of center, you'll see the Alan Treman Marine Park with all its docks there. It's room for like 400 boats. And just below that is the mouth of Cayuga Inlet. And you may be able to make out the two lighthouses to the right. They are sort of staggered. The white one is sort of just right of center, and then there's a red one a little farther to the right, a little hard to make out in this picture. But in and out of the Cayuga Inlet is where the handle, MV Handle, comes. Here's back in the inlet, probably coming back to the farmer's market. And then here it is also in the inlet, heading south into the inlet again. And you look up on the upper center there, and you can see South Hill, and there's Ithaca College, and it's 2 dormitory towers. So let's see what we got here. But if you're out on the lake, this is what looking out of the rear of the boat looks, is 2 powerful diesel engines under the rear deck, and leave a bit of a wake. Actually, that I guess it's a sailboat out there, yeah. And you see a lot of boats on the lake. You get a view of the lake that people don't normally get, because most people don't get out on the lake unless you have some sort of boat. So this is kind of nice. You can get out on the lake. There's a sailboat that you pass by. We pass a lot of other interesting boats. And when they go on a typical tour, they go over to the eastern shore, or we go over to the eastern shore. I've actually worked in that boat for 10 years. And that's the eastern shore from the western shore, because the boat goes up the eastern shore, the other side there, for a few miles, and then cuts across on either its 1 hour or 2 hour trips. And it's a little closer to the eastern shore. Look at the cliffs along there. The eastern shore is pretty rugged. There's the railroad runs along the base of the cliffs, but those cliffs have been there for thousands of years, the result of wind blowing waves pounding against those cliffs, and against the base of the hill really, and creating and maintaining those cliffs for many thousands of years. And most of the places that you see along the Finger Lakes where you have cliffs like that are where the shore is exposed to an expanse of water where waves can build up in the wind, usually from the west or the northwest. Now we get up even closer. Now this was on a tour last week, and it was towards dusk. This was late afternoon, and I had a couple of special tours. There are sunset tours on the lake during the summer, usually on the weekends. This was a special one, a charter, but they don't continue in the fall because sunset gets too early. But this is what's called Esty Glen, and it's not a very deep gorge, but it's a high and wide one. And Esty Point is in the lower center, and right in the center, just above the upper center, is this big amphitheater. And to the left of it, you see a little notch in the cliff. And that's actually a waterfall when we have some rain, but it hasn't been flowing too much this year. But there's some other gullies nearby there that if there's a rain, they will flow. So I have seen along this cliff as many as 11 waterfalls when it's been really rainy, but not a lot of activity, as you can imagine, this summer. So this tour we took last week, actually took a couple of them, was this one. Well, obviously this was before sunset, but now this second one here was actually after sunset. Beautiful dusk. The water calms down, and you get amazing reflections of the colors in the sky on Cayuga Lake. Here we are, looking out the back of the boat. People there enjoying the serenity and beauty of that scene. So I have a few more images of like that, looking off the side of the boat across to the north, to the west, and where the sun had set. Really lovely. A sailboat returning back to its home dock, and of course this is it's a beautiful time of day, but if you've got a boat out on the lake, at this time of day you want to make sure you have lights on it so that other boats like the Handle can see you. So I think this boat here did have lights on it. This one we're looking at now, and I think it's sort of a catamaran type thing. Here's another view of it. Oh my gosh, is that lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Other boats. Beautiful time of day. And it's getting darker and darker. Let's see. And finally we come back in the inlet. This is actually in between the tours. And the moon is rising over Cornell. So this is the blue moon, where we have two moons in the same calendar month. So it's pretty unusual. I guess it's not going to happen again for a long time. So it's the August blue moon. I don't know why they call it blue, but it's not blue. And then the second tour we came back, and the moon had risen up over the lake and got some beautiful reflections on Cayuga Lake from the moonrise. Hope you can see that on your set there. All right. So, if you want to find out more about this boat, Tierra Tours, the Handle, and so forth, you can go to that website. and also about the Cayuga Lake Floating Classroom. Go to floatingclassroom.net, tiahuerotours.com and floatingclassroom.net. If you go to tiahuerotours.com, there will be a link to the Floating Classroom, and I think vice versa as well. And the Floating Classroom also has a blog you can link to, so that's pretty interesting. So, all right, so we're gonna move on here. What are we gonna do next? Oh, well, you know, let's do some let's have some fun here. We're gonna go to Teaganic. Of course, the summer concert series that we have in Ithaca, the ones at Cornell, the ones downtown in the Ithaca Commons, and the ones at Teaganic Falls State Park, and there are others as well in the area, wineries and so forth. They're pretty much over. Actually, I think the one on the Ithaca Commons is the last one is Thursday the 6th. So anyway, we're going to go look at the last one that was at Teaganic Falls. It was on August 18th. It was the Sim Redmond Band. So we'll take another Bill Hecht photo here. And to look at Teaganic Falls State Park, there's the gorge looking from the west towards the east. And you can see Teaganic Point sticking out there in the lake. And on the right-hand side of the point, you see a lawn area maybe. It's right in the center of the picture. That's where, of course, the concerts take place. So I'm going to take me a moment to bring these up. I'll have it ready for you in a second. Okay, so it was a lovely concert season. I think pretty much all of them had good weather. In any case, we'll have to wait till next year to enjoy that again. So now we're going to go to back to a place we were at last week's show, which was in Albany at the this was Corning Preserve Park, and last week there was a big rally there and march to the Capitol Park, protesting hydrofracking, the very controversial method of obtaining so-called natural gas from the deep Marcellus Shale underneath much of the mid-Atlantic states. So we're going to go back there today to get one of the talks by one of the people at the rally, who's a famous person, at least in environmental circles, a guy named Bill McKibben, who is a writer and educator and environmentalist, and one of the first people to really start talking seriously about global warming, and he's going to make the connection with hydrofracking. So I'm going to set us up here. We'll go take a look at Corning Preserve Park, and while I get this video ready to go for us here.
When everybody else was talking about climate change as if it's going to be in the distant future, Bill McKibben wrote a book called Changing the Spelling of Earth, and he showed us that we are already experiencing climate change. Bill McKibben is the founder of 350.org. Please join me in
3,200 people have signed a pledge to resist fracking. That's amazing. Those are people who've said, if I have to, I will go to jail. We are not going to let this happen. I'm going to give you the 4 reasons that for me we need to resist. The first is because this state is so beautiful, and that beauty is so based on its greatest treasure, this water, from one end of the state to the other. From the shores of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario to the beaches of Long Island Sound, from Cayuga and Cayuga and Chautauqua to Sacandaga Lake to Seneca Lake, from Saranac and St. Regis to the Oneida and Onondaga, from Skaneateles and Cazenovia, from the banks of the Mohawk and the Schoharie and the St. Lawrence, from the Susquehanna and the Delaware, from Lake Tier of the Clouds, where the Hudson forms on the shoulder of our mightiest mountain, all the way to where it flows into the sea at the Verrazano Narrows, from the Sawkill to the Beaverkill to the Catterskill to the mighty Niagara, from the Neversink to the Oswegatchie, from the George Washington Bridge to the Tappan Zee to the Bear Mountain Bridge, from the Brooklyn Bridge to Hellgate to the Peace Bridge and the Rainbow Bridge, along every lock on the Erie Canal and every harbor on Lake Champlain. We will resist. The second reason we gotta resist, the second reason is because we love our communities. We look across the border to Pennsylvania to see what happens to those communities and the people in them. And then we look across the other border to Vermont, where we banned fracking this spring. To talk about sacrificing the southern tier, that's particularly ironic, you know. Think about New York. In the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution was born here. In the 20th century, Binghamton gave birth to IBM, to this whole new world. And now we can think of nothing better to do than just sell off the pollution rights. That is a disgrace, and it is time. It is time for Governor Cuomo to go to work and figure out a real plan for prosperity. The third reason that we have to resist, the third reason is because we are also citizens of this planet. Yesterday we saw the Arctic ice reach the lowest level ever recorded on this planet, okay? We have saw in July the warmest month that there ever was in this state, any month, in this country, any month, any year. Global warming is overtaking us and overtaking us fast, and fracking for natural gas is just one more way to speed up that climate change. So when you stand here today, it's not just for our counties in New York. You stand with people all over the planet whose islands are disappearing, whose glaciers are melting, whose food supply is disappearing. We are part of this together. And the fourth and final reason that we have to resist is because we need to stand up for democracy in this place. Andrew Cuomo has had one gut check moment so far as governor, and he passed. He stood up to the forces of hate and said it was okay for anybody to marry anybody in the Empire State. But you know what? There was no huge tide of money on the other side of that decision. This is his second gut check moment. Will he stand up to the richest industry on earth? Will he follow the polls that show a majority of New Yorkers want nothing to do with fracking? This is his gut check moment, and we will all be watching. I hope he shows the same resolve and the same courage he showed last time, because this is one of those decisions we'll remember not just for the next few years. It's one of those decisions that will be recorded in geologic time, what he does here. It is so amazing to see all these people out on a Monday morning here in the state of New York. It is the absolute sign that we are absolutely serious when we say that we will resist.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Bill McKibben, for being with us today.
Okay, quite a stirring speech, and he's an excellent writer. I've seen him. He's come to Cornell once or twice and spoken, and he's really ringing the alarm bell on global warming. He's had a couple of articles out lately, in one of them, at least one, maybe two, in Rolling Stone magazine. One of them called "Global Warming: The Terrifying New Math." So, well, let's go on to some other things. Let's go to the Civil War. This is the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. Probably one of the most tragic things that happened in this country, but also something we need to know about. And something called the Sesquicentennial Committee or something like that in Ithaca, I think associated with the History Center, brought a Civil War reenactment, Civil War encampment group to Ithaca on August 25th and 26th. So I have a very short video of that encampment. I went there, and it was, for me actually, it was quite profound, because I got information about one of my ancestors that was killed in the Civil War. I got a little bit more information about him. So I'm going to put up this picture from just about to fire a cannon here, and we'll bring up this next short video here. So be with you in just a moment.
My name is Karen Cleveland, and I'm here this weekend at the Ithaca Volunteer Firemen's Association Park, and I'm here with the 148th New York Volunteer Infantry. We are a living history group of the 148th Infantry of New York, celebrating the works of the soldiers during the Civil War. And today we're having many demonstrations. We brought along some hardtack so that folks would see what soldiers would take and carry off to their marches during the Civil War. It's not a fun thing to eat. It's very, very tough. We've heard all kinds of stories of the hardtack, but we have some here today to share with those that visit us, and so they can get an idea of really what it was to eat during the Civil War. We also have military here, and they've been demonstrating their firing of muskets and doing some drills. As well, there's artillery. We have a cannon that's been demonstrating the acts of firing a cannon, which is pretty mighty if you think about it. So
yeah, that was really quite a loud piece there.
Very loud. We jump every time.
Right.
But we're having a good time here in Ithaca, and we're really happy that the Civil War Committee has invited us to come here and show everybody what we can do and in education, and sharing our knowledge of the Civil War and what it really was like during 1861 to 1865 in our country.
Right, and you were over here with a civilian women's tent.
Yes.
And talking about the women's relationship to the war, and sometimes even involvement in it.
Yes, a lot of times the women would come to help their loved ones, their husbands, and maybe their sons. If they were hurt, they could bring supplies and help them to get well. We also would stay with our husbands and do laundry and sew and knit, whatever it is that we could do to help in serving the regiment.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well, that's excellent. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. We're really glad to be here.
Okay, so that was a really interesting time, and I hope some of you got to get down there and see the encampment a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to finish off. We're running out of time now. We're going to finish off with an excerpt from one of the concerts on the Ithaca Commons, the concert series this summer, and the Excavators, ska music. And I left out the S in the Excavators. You'll see their title on there, but they were quite good. You can kind of think of the Ithaca Commons as this is the arrow pointing to it as an urban park. It serves many of the functions of a park. But let's go right on to the Excavators.